Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. First, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to lead the class today. So, let me introduce myself. This is me, Iha Bapti. I completed my graduation from University of Liberal Arts Bangladesh in Media Studies and Journalism Department, and there my major was Public Relations. The area of this field is really so vast, and there are various topics, subtopics under this subject. So, today our learning topic is understanding communication. So, we will learn a very basic idea of communication today. So, we all know that communication is a process, right? But how we see communication as a process? I have a question for you, and that is understanding communication a complicated task or an easy task? What do you think? According to me, communication is not an easy task. Understanding communication is always a complicated task, right? So, why it is complicated? We will learn it practically now. I have planned a game for you, so which will not take more than 2 to 3 minutes. The rule of this game is I have already drawn a picture, and that I will not reveal now or disclose it now. So I will assist you verbally, and you are requested to follow my instruction, and you have to draw the same picture. Okay. So for playing this game, what we need are pen and paper. So please have it. So now I think we can start our game. So let's draw a circle on the middle of the paper. Okay, I think it's done. Now please draw a cylinder under the circle. Okay, I think it's finished, right? So after that, you have to draw some stripes around the figure. Okay, are we done? Okay, now I will reveal my part, and I have drawn a picture of a bulb. So how many of you draw the same picture of mine? Okay. So are we understanding that understanding communication is not an easy task? It is really a complicated task. It is a difficult task. Are we understanding? Because what I wanted to deliver, you did not get it properly. That's why you failed to draw the picture, right? So this is how understanding communication is really difficult, and there are various reasons behind it. There are another reason, that is it is related with various types of knowledge or background, such as linguistic, sociology, psychology, then philosophy, etc. So different scholars from different backgrounds see human phenomena from their different perspectives, right? For this reason, it is really difficult to provide an ideal definition of communication. So now we will know what actually communication is. The word communication is derived from a Latin word, which is communicare. So what does communicare mean? Communicare means to share. We know communication is a process, right? But which process it is? It is a social process of sharing, exchanging, negotiating, then transmitting of ideas, facts, information, opinions, feelings between two or more individuals to reach a mutual understanding. So having a mutual understanding is really an important part in communication process, because without reaching a mutual understanding, communication process will be continuing. So there is another major part of communication process, that is it is not only about sharing a message, it is about sharing a meaning. So while understanding communication, so we need to remember these two factors. Okay, so now I will discuss about some principles of communication. There are various principles of communication, but I will discuss 4 principles of communication, and these are: communication is inescapable. That means we cannot ignore it, or we cannot escape from it, right? It is a major part in our day-to-day life. So communication is inescapable. Then second one is communication is irreversible, which means once I told a speech, or once I give a speech, or whatever I say, I cannot take it back, or I cannot reverse it, right? So communication is irreversible. And third one is communication is complicated, which we have already learned it. Then fourth one is communication is contextual. So as communication is related with various backgrounds of knowledge, so it is obviously contextual. So now we will learn about the elements of communication. There are 5 elements of communication, and these are sender, message, then channel, receiver, and feedback. I want to give you an example. Suppose my father is worrying about me and I have to call him and inform him that I am safe. So here, who wants to send the message? I. So I am the sender. Then what is the message? That I am safe, right? So it is the message. Then in which medium I will send the message? By phone. So phone is the medium or channel. Then who will receive the message? My father will receive the message. So he will be the receiver, and after receiving the message, what my father will reply and how he will react. So that will be the feedback, right? So I think it is clear to you all. So now there is another major part of communication process, which is noise. Noise can be anything that interrupts communication process. Failure in communication process is always created by noise. So there are 4 types of noise, and these are physical noise, psychological noise, physiological noise, and semantic noise. So what is physical noise? Physical noise is always called as external noise, such as too bad handwriting to read, then too small font to read, then various or continuous horns of vehicles. These are the external noise. Then what is physiological noise? Physiological noise can be any harm of our body or any body parts or anything that is related to our communication process, such as memory loss, such as hear loss, etc. So then the example of psychological noise can be biasness, then narrow mind, etc. Then what is semantic noise? Semantic noise is created when the differences between language is uh, created or something. So that time semantic noise is created. The example of semantic noise can be dialect or jargon word. So if I use here any jargon word, then other professional person may not be get the message properly, right? So this how communication process noise interrupts. So now I will share about different forms about communication process. So there are 2 forms of communication, and these are verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Verbal communication includes both oral and written communication, and non-verbal communication includes gesture, posture, facial expression, then tone of voice, body language, etc. So I have another question for you, and that is, I'm talking to you, right? So how many of you are supporting that it is the mixture of both verbal and non-verbal communication? Okay, I think all are supporting, right? Because I'm talking to you verbally, and also I'm moving my hands, I'm changing my facial expression to strengthen my meaning, right? So this is the mixture of both verbally and non-verbally communication. So now moving to the next part, which is about different types of communication. So there are 4 types of communication, and these are intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, then organizational communication, and fourth one is mass communication. So what is intrapersonal communication? Intrapersonal communication means sometimes we talk with ourselves, right? What we should do, what we should not to do, then we think in our mind. So that is that communication is called intrapersonal communication. And then what is interpersonal communication? Communication between 2 or more individuals is called interpersonal communication. So there are 4 types of interpersonal communication, and these are direct communication, then small group of communication, public speaking, and computer mediated communication. So direct communication happens between only two person. Then small group of communication happens between 3 to 8%. Then small public speaking happens between a speaker and a large number of individuals or a large number of audiences. Then fourth number is computer mediated communication. So that is any messages which is mediated by computer device or any other devices, that is called computer mediated communication, such as email, fax, text message, etc. So these are the types of interpersonal communication. So now I will discuss about organizational communication. Every organization uses this type of communication. Then employer, employee, supervisor, frontline employee, then group member, team member, they are following this type of communication. So now the last one is mass communication. So in mass communication, a message is transmitted from one sources to a mass people in a short period of time. So those mass people can be scattered around the world. Okay. So whenever we get a news from television channel or radio channel, that is the example, that can be the example of mass communication. Okay. So I think we all have understood it well. So these are the part of our today's lesson. So I think there is no question. That if there is any question, you may ask. So thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.